all the contents of Judaism, you can become a Jew.
Yeah.
But your bloodline is
not Jewish.
It's not through the promise that was given through Abraham.
Yeah.
So when the promise was given to Abraham, that was through blood.
Abraham wasn't Jewish, sorry.
Listen.
Abraham wasn't Jewish.
Listen.
Abraham wasn't
I
Jewish.
didn't say Abraham was Jewish.
Thank you.
So, okay,
Abraham
so
wasn't Jewish.
brother, you bringing things that have nothing to do with what I'm talking about. Listen to what I'm saying, though. Listen, I'm talking. Listen, I'm going to speak to you right now. If you gave your son a promise, and there was direct laws that your son would need to follow to inherit those promises, that's your bloodline.
Yeah.
Now, if your great-great-great-great-grandson forget that he have a promise, that doesn't mean he lost his promise. He forgot he had a promise.
Yeah.
Listen, now if this guy come from the Caucasus Mountains and come over and say, you know what, I'm going to follow what your great-great-grandfather followed. Just because he's following it, he's still not his promise.
Exactly.
You understand?
Yeah.
He's just practicing what the children of the promise should be practicing to some degree. But when the child come back and realize that it's his promise, should it go to the person that converted, or should it go to the bloodline person?
It should go to the bloodline.
Exactly. So that leads us to this conversation, because believe it or not, Christ had a purpose to die on the cross for a people. Let me get that real quick. Get Hebrews 8:8 for me real quick. I'm going to go over this just for a couple of seconds. I'm going to show you how this turns and come around full circle. Let's get Hebrews 8:8. Because this is the part I'm going to tell you, even in Christianity, they have really rejected the truth concerning this. They'll tell you it doesn't matter who the physical people of God is now. It can be anybody. Now, to some degree, it's right. Anyone can follow the truth, but you cannot reject the bloodline. So the question now is, how do we find the true bloodline when there have been so many conversions?
Yeah.
Let's go. Read Hebrews 8:8 for me real quick.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 8, verse 8.
Let's go.
For finding fault with them, he saith.
Hold up. Who did God find fault with? The children of Israel. For finding fault with him, he said what?
He saith, Behold,
Behold,
the days come,
the days will come,
saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant
I will make a new covenant with who?
with the house of Israel.
With who?
With the house of Israel.
So that old covenant was broken. But through Christ, a new covenant would be made with who?
With the house of Israel.
With the house of Israel. So even in the new covenant, it pertains to the original people. But the problem is the original people have no idea who they are. Now I'm going to show you. Read.
And with the house of Judah.
And with the house of Judah. Now it's saying the house of Israel and the house of Judah. Why? Because the kingdom was split after Solomon's sin in 721. You're going to find out that the northern kingdom, some of them spread around different areas and went into Asia too. And in Japan. But a large number of them came over the waters into what we call the New World. The North American Indians and all of them.
Right.
And that's why they have found in the Americas proof. They have found Hebrew in ancient burial grounds in the West, in America. And people started wondering, how can these Indians have Hebrew in their burial grounds? They're from the diaspora. So while everyone is focusing on the geopolitical Jews, they have rejected and ignored the true bloodline. When there's archaeological and biblical proof that we can find who the real Jews are today. Now the problem is, why should we be focused on one group that converted and not pay attention to the people God sent Christ for, who sinned in the Old Testament? See, that's a part that you can't find in no religion. In the Christian church, in the mosque, in the synagogues, no one is speaking of these people.
Exactly.
When there should be a conversation, because how can everyone receive the promise of God and ignore the people of God?